Chapter Steps to Realization, Part 1. First, among the qualifications required of the aspirant for Janana or wisdom come Shama and Dhamma, which may be taken together. They mean the keeping of the organs in their own centers without allowing them to stray out. I shall explain to you first what the word organ means. Here are the eyes. The eyes are not the organs of vision, but only the instruments. Unless the organs also are present, I cannot see, even if I have eyes. But given both the organs and the instruments, unless the mind attaches itself to these two, no vision takes place. So, in each act of perception, three things are necessary. First, the external instruments, then the internal organs, and lastly, the mind. If any one of them be absent, then there will be no perception. Thus, the mind acts through two agencies, one external and the other internal. When I see things, my mind goes out, becomes externalized, but suppose I close my eyes and begin to think, the mind does not go out, it is internally active. But in either case, there is activity of the organs. When I look at you and speak to you, both the organs and the instruments are active. When I close my eyes and begin to think, the organs are active but not the instruments. Without the activity of these organs, there will be no thought. You will find that none of you can think without some symbol. In the case of the blind man, he has also to think through some figure. The organ of sight and hearing are generally very active. You must bear in mind that the word organ is meant the nerve center in the brain. The eyes and ears are only the instruments of seeing and hearing, and the organs are inside. If the organs are destroyed by any means, even if the eyes or the ears be there, we shall not see or hear. So, in order to control the mind, we must first be able to control these organs. To restrain the mind from wandering outward or inwards and keep the organs in their respective centers is what is meant by the words Shama and Dhamma. Shama consists in not allowing the mind to externalize, and Dhamma in checking the external instruments. Now comes Uparati, which consists in not thinking of things of the senses. Most of our time is spent in thinking about sense objects, things which we have seen or we have heard, which we shall see or shall hear, things which we have eaten or are eating or shall eat, places where we have lived, and so on. We think of them or talk of them most of our time. One who wishes to be Vedantin must give up this habit. Then comes the next preparation. It is a hard task to be a philosopher. Titiksa, the most difficult of all. It is nothing less than the ideal forbearance. Resist not evil. This requires a little explanation. We may not resist an evil, but at the same time, we may feel very miserable. A man may say very harsh things to me, and I may not outwardly hate him for it, may not answer him back, but may restrain myself from apparently getting angry. But anger and hatred may be in my mind, and I may feel very badly towards that man. That is not non resistance. I should be without any feeling of hatred or anger, without any thought of resistance. My mind must then be as calm as if nothing had happened. And only when I have got to that state have I attained to non existence, non resistance, and not before. Forbearance of all misery without even a thought of resisting or driving it out, without even any painful feeling in the mind or any remorse, this is titiksa. Suppose I do not resist and some great evil comes nearby, and if I have titiksa, I should not feel any remorse for not having resisted. When the mind has attained to that state, it has become established in titiksa. People in India do extraordinary things in order to practice this titiksa. They bear tremendous heat and cold without caring. They do not even care for snow because they take no thought for the body. It is left to itself as if it were a foreign thing.